Hey folks, Curated Expert Jake Renner here.
Hayden Wright, Curated Expert as well. On this week's head-to-head, we had the Faction Prodigy 2.0's verse.
The limited edition of the K2 Poachers.
Yes, and in these head-to-head episodes, we have 3 categories we're gonna break them down for: carving, freeride, and freestyle.
We are unaffiliated, unsponsored. We are not associated with any of these brands, so we are giving unbiased opinions to get the right fit for you.
Yep, and if you want to get hooked up with a Curated Expert, go ahead, look down in the link below. Jake and our link's gonna be right there.
Heck yeah.
Faction Prodigy 2.0's 98 millimeters underfoot, full wood core ski, damp, great for hard chargers. How about the K2s?
K2 Poacher limited edition. The top sheet is the only difference between this year's model and the limited edition. It's got an aspen core with 2 strips of wood down the sides to help with rigidity and pop underfoot. These are a fun ski.
Hey, first category, factions. In the carving category, these being, I don't know, 98 millimeters underfoot. They were a little bit much to get over for quick turns. That being said, they have a little bit longer turn radius than those.
Yeah, is it a 21 meter turn radius?
I think it's 21, yeah, and then those are a little shorter. But what'd you think of those carving?
Man, I had fun on these. These are a little bit shorter, a little bit narrow underfoot, a 96 millimeter underfoot, and a tighter turn radius. These do grip a bit tighter so you can maneuver them better, and they really do propel you with the flex of that ski into your next carve. Yep. I'd say though that these were a little bit more damp.
Yep, they definitely, they took it all, man. We found some bumps, they were great, but yes, in carving, I don't know, I would say these were probably the better carver. What about you?
It's hard to say. On a day like today with conditions that we have, I think I'd go with the Poacher.
Right on.
Just because of that tighter turn radius, and it just felt like it's gripping that ice and hard pack a little bit easier when I'm going from edge to edge. But these are a hard charging damp ski, so if we got a little bit more ski and it was a little bit more choppy, like ungroomed, I'd probably want to go with these.
Yeah.
But that might be leaning into freeride a little bit.
Yeah, speaking of freeride, that's our next category. What do you think about the K2 Poachers in the freeride category?
These are a lot of fun because of that flex pattern. They're just like, they want to jib. They're not gonna stay afloat in that much powder. So like if you wanted to drop cliffs in a powder,
be ready to sink.
Yeah,
these are definitely free ride in my opinion. These ones being a slightly damper ski than the carbon, these guys are burlier for sure. So free ride, hitting jumps, landing. This is just more ski. It's also wider too, so that's something to consider. But those were great too. I mean, for a slushy resort day, the Poachers they'll be great free riding as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the way these handle, super damp. They're a little bit heavier. Like they're like a hard charging, like power ski, stable underfoot. If you're setting a 3, you want to set with your skis, kind of. Yeah. I mean, how would that backflip?
I don't know. Well, these weren't really true center mounted, so we had a lot of swing weight.
Yeah.
It was a lot of learning because we usually ride center mount, but
yeah,
it was still fun.
Free ride. We're gonna go with the Prodigy 2.0s. All right, and our third category, freestyle.
Yep, that was a sick day. Yeah, well, we'll go with the factions. They got a little park where we were at today. Being 98 millimeters underfoot, freestyle, it's not the best, it's not too big, but it's definitely leaning on the wider side. What do you think too?
Yeah, they're a little bit heavy, so it's like when you're setting your tricks in air, you kind of slow down unless you whip it. Or like tweak those skis up to the side and just hold your grab.
Yep.
But yeah, a little bit heavier. So in the park, I'm gonna go with the K2 Poachers. They're super fun. They're a lot easier to swap on rails. They're a lot easier to get your rotations around. K2 Poachers.
Yep, I'm with Jake on that one. The Poachers were so fun. We were really looking forward. It was a surprise too to get the limited graphics.
Both of these did great ride and switch. Like, hit some jump switch. I think, 0 spin on those was fine.
0 spin, switch backy.
Both of these, because they have that full tail rocker, they do fine switch. I'd say that these Prodigies are a little more directional. So with regard to like playfulness and freestyle skiing, because of the symmetry of this Poacher, I really think they shine.
You could probably mount them backwards too and you wouldn't notice too much.
This Poacher wants to spin. This Poacher wants to flip. This Poacher's easy to swap on rails. So like getting your spin onto rails, switch ups on rails are way easier.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like a small little jump, doing a 3, and then it's got a super playful flex throughout it, like not too soft. I don't like noodles because I like to hit these big jumps and I want them to be stable underfoot.
Yeah, you'll lose ski or whatever back
so
there.
yeah, these have pop underfoot, but they're not unforgiving. So it's like a playful ski with pop underfoot, and that's what I like about it. What did you think, Hayden?
Yeah, exactly. Jake hit it on the head. Also, it's just they're just not as much ski. Like, you don't need that 98 underfoot unless it's your one ski and you do enjoy the park. That being said, you know, full wood core versus this carbon stringers, you can tell when there's some carbon in these K2 skis that they're poppy. I mean, we had tons of fun. We did jumps, rails, we put it through the ringer, and you know, we both had nothing but smiles on the K2 Poachers.
So the conclusion,
Dun, dun, dun.
drum roll, I'm gonna go with the Poachers.
Yep. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we'd have to get.
Just kidding, these were all right too. These had their perks.
Yeah, the Prodigies, you know, I'd go with the Prodigy 2.0s with a little bit more snow.
For sure, it is early season right now. So.
I mean, what type of skier would like the Prodigies, would you say?
Yeah, totally. If you're a resort jammer, but you do enjoy the park, you know, this ski does have a purpose, and that purpose would be somebody, if you're riding Alyeska, Alta, Snowbird, Jackson, those mountains that just have tons of side hits, you know, you're gonna want something a little stiffer, you know, than those. But that being said, for me personally, being here in Colorado, that would be a great resort ski. It would still be the Poacher for park and ripping the groomers. How about?
Yeah, I'd say that these Poachers are like the perfect balance of like a park ski and like all mountain jibby ski that you can still perform in the park with.
So that just shows you how every ski is kind of built for different skiers. If you're unsure of, you know, what kind of ski would fit your style best, go to Jake's or my link below and come over and chat, man. We'd love to help.
If you like what you see, click the subscribe button. Please feel free to leave a comment below letting us know which skis you want to see us put head to head next.